we have the entire car right now taped off, and we have our ventilation right there. So the plan is that we are going to take a piece of fiberglass cloth, and then we're going to use POR 15 patch, and then this is going to act on the inside as a foundation that we can, this stuff will harden like a rock. We'll put it on the inside, we'll slather this on both sides, and then patch it from the inside, and then that'll give us a solid foundation here to lay out a little bit of body filler, and then we're going to coat the whole inside in here with regular POR 15 to protect it from any future rusting. Hey guys, all right, so we're on the other side now, and when we put this side in, I'll pick it up and I'll try to get down inside to show you what they look like. This side's still kind of tight, and it wouldn't do you any justice if I'm trying to film it while I'm trying to put it in there. It definitely will fray on you. Don't be alarmed about that. That's just what this stuff does. For those of you who have used it before, I don't mean to be redundant. The rust doesn't go all the way to the bottom, so we don't even need to go all the way to the bottom, because if you remember, we're going to be covering the inside with POR 15 anyway, so whatever gets missed on this with the patch from POR 15, it'll get filled with the regular paint on. You're definitely going to want to let this set up for at least 24 hours to make sure that it's cured. But as you can see, we now have a nice foundation to put down the body filler. So we're pretty close to primer now. What we did was 2 coats of body filler. After the first coat, we had a couple little pinholes that we had to fill in, so we blew it out with the air hose and then put another application on. We used 80 grit and 120 grit. 80 grit first, 120 second on the DA. Trick is here for me anyway, I'm not an experienced body guy, but the trick for me was nice light pressure, try to keep it flat, don't run the edges too much. So that turned out really good. It's really nice and smooth. I ran it with my fingers. It's not 100% perfect, but remember, we're going to be putting on a high build primer, and then we'll also be putting on the paint, and we can block everything out and then wet sand the paint afterward. Finished product after everything's dried. Looks like it never happened. Looks like the rust was never there. Nice and straight from the side. I'd call that a success in my book. And same exact on the passenger side. So we can call this part done and move on to the rest. So we're gonna remove all the clamps. Let me explain to you what we did here really quick. This guy right here, this piece of metal was completely rusted out. You can see the gaping hole that we still have over here, but we did wire wheel all that rust, and then we cut this out of our parts car and then cut it just a little bit longer, and then used a urethane, I think it's urethane, but it's window adhesive, the same stuff that they put your windshields in with. Slathered that on. We left a couple inches on that side, a couple inches overlapping on this side, and then held it in there, clamped it overnight. Now it's time to take them off and see what we have. We threw this in the sandblaster before we put it on so that it was bare metal, and then we just coated this side before installing it with the rust reformer. And then same thing like we did with the side quarter panels, we are going to use some fiberglass mesh and the patch repair from Pour 15, and then we'll go over with some body filler on the top. We'll redo the seam sealer here, and then that's pretty much going to call it for the top area of the trunk here. Will be completely repaired. Moving on back by the taillights, we just have to address this, and then it's not as bad, but it is still there on that side for the taillight. Up under here looks fine, but if you notice on the driver's side, we have a little bit of rust to address right there. So we'll probably do some fiberglass and Pour 15 there, and then lather it with Pour 15 before we prep it for our paint. But everything else looks fine. We are pretty much all done with the rust repair except for what is underneath of the car. All right guys, I'm fighting daylight here, but I wanted to give you a quick walk around of what my paint booth looks like and what we've done so far. So this is the inside of the paint booth, and we have the entire car right now taped off and wiped down with wax and grease remover. I just have to wipe it down with the tack rag, and we have our ventilation right there. I'm gonna spray the floor down with a little bit of water with a mister, just to catch any static particles that might be floating in the air that the air filter doesn't catch. And then I've already wiped down the hose with wax and grease remover. I've got to get ready now to mix some paint. It's about 5:45 here, and the sun is going down quickly, and I have to get back to work tomorrow, so I need to get this done right now.